Barakte Hawa, Barakte Shai, Barakate Hawa, Barakate Shai, Barakate Hawa, Barakte Hawa, Bashim Shai, Bashim Rakar Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS Great Millstone who teach and rule well through the spirit of and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Right? Peace, love, and salutations to the brothers in the four corners of this earth pushing this word with all truth and sincerity. The elect men of Israel, Shalom, Specklebird, Akims, and Akwats out there who are tuned in, listening and learning sincerely. Shalom. This is the brother Nahal from the GMS Kingston, Jamaica, from GMS Jamaica camp, right? And this show will be going into basically how you will be rejected at first, right, and then accepted in the last, right? And not only you, but Yahweh Hashem Yeshai, the knowledge that you bring forth will be rejected, right, by Jake two-third at first, and then accepted in the last, you know, because and it basically this video is stemming from a conversation that I've had with a relative, right, and basically when she asked what I was still doing, and I mean, and I went into that the fact that I'm still a Hebrew Israelite, and I'm still basically doing the work, right? It's like all excitement dropped, yo, and her voice fell to a monotone voice, and like she was like, if I'm still doing that, but it just shows that not everyone accept the truth. You only those who the Most High set up to accept it will accept it, right? Because you have believers and how many have helped that will be basically saved as well. Not only the prophets of the Most High, not only the 144,000 men, but even a one third, you know. So not everyone will accept it, and this is at first as well, because there will come a point in time where everyone, everyone, the heathen, as long along with Israel themselves, will accept Yahweh Hashem Shai. But no, in this time, right, not everyone that will accept it. At first, they'll think you're crazy, yo, right? They're going to life madness. What you're doing, going out on the highways and byways, being in garments, reading from the Bible, putting out videos about the Bible, teaching about God, all of this, yo, right? Hey, the more counter life madness, yo, right? And we get that a lot. We get scoffers a lot, scarners a lot, yo, you know, because of what we do, because of all because of the name of Yahweh Bashim Haushai, you know. So at first we will be rejected, and then in the last we will be accepted, yo. And Yahweh Bashim Haushai ultimately will get all glory, and that's another thing we should look into as well, not making this about ourselves, yo, because if we make it about ourselves, we're gonna become insecure, and we're gonna care about what people think of us, yo, right? We're gonna feel offended when people call us crazy, mad, and all sort of names for Yahweh Bashmir Shai sakes, yo. So that's why we put off that feeling, yo. Not don't make it about you, or don't let's not make it about ourselves, but Yahweh Bashmir Shai, so that when them basically scoff us, scoff at us and call us names and mock us, right? We can glory in Yahweh Bashmir Shai, knowing that this is what was said to come, yo, right? So this is real quick, this is First Corinthians chapter 4, and I'll start at verse 8, right? It says, "Know are ye full, know ye are rich, ye have reigned as kings without us, and I would to God ye did reign, that we also might reign with you. For I think that God had set forth the apostles last, as were appointed to death, for we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men," right? We're made spectacles unto men, yo. Men have never seen anything like this before, yo. You know what I mean? Two-third Esau is Eden nation. They've never seen an arrangement of men, brothers coming together. Being unified with one goal in mind, yo, speaking the truth, being in the spirit of Yahweh Shemeshah, yo. So we made a spectacle, yo. It says, "We are fools for a Mashiach's sake, but ye are wise in a Mashiach," you know. So people, I think, might look at you and think you're dumb, yo, because scripture even tells us that the Most High didn't choose nobles, not many noble, not many wise in speech, and so on and so forth, yo. So people are look on and think you're not intellectual because of the way how you dress, the way how you look. You know what I mean, consider you to be foolish, But guess what? But we are wise in a Mashiach because Yahweh Shemeshai deal with us, yo. Scripture even tells us that the wisdom of this world is foolishness to the Most High. You know, it says we are weak, but ye are strong, right? Ye are honorable, but we are despised. So we're honorable, we're strong, yo, but we're despised among men. You know what I mean? We're despised out on the highways and byways. People look down on us, yo. You know what I mean? They don't see us as equal. They think we're madmen, just as any other madmen out there, yo. You know? It says, even unto this present hour, we both hunger and thirst, and are naked, and are buffeted, and have no certain dwelling place, and labor working with our own hands, being reviled, right? We we bless, being persecuted, we suffer it, right? And it's because we are reviled, yo. Let's get the meaning of the word reviled real quick, right? What this is reviled right here. Go on. Stuck out. Okay. So this is reviled. It says criticize in an abusive or angrily insulting manner, yo. You know what I mean? And a mainly James, yo, not only two-third criticizes us, but even other Hebrew Israelite camps as well. You know? Why? Because we get on them when they're going off, yo. And that just shows that the Yahweh Shemir Shai is in the midst of GMS, yo. You know? So we're criticized in an abusive or angry, insulting manner. Nate calls us bums. You know what I mean? They calls us pedophiles, rapists, you know? Because we actually speak the 100% truth, the doctrine, and we don't cover it or sugarcoat it, regardless of what men might think. And that's what the most I want as well, yo. You know, men who are willing to put out their all, put their life in jeopardy for his sake. You know what I mean? Just as we're reviled, right? We bless, being persecuted, we suffer it, right? So being reviled, we bless, you know? And Yahweh Hashem Shai blesses us, yo. You know what I mean? It says, being reviled, we bless, being persecuted, we suffer it, right? Being defamed, right? When we are defamed, ever defamed so much, you know, so much, yo, by these other Hebrew Israelite camps, by even polite, vocab, two-third, heathen. I mean, them the famous, you them call us all sort of name. Them use a lot of ad hominem attacks to defame our character, so that what we speak might seem that might seem less acceptable, yo, you know. But you can't do anything against the truth, but for the truth, right? So regardless of what how many things they might try or what they might say, the most I actually is gonna make the word flourish. You know what I mean? And so much more so through us because we don't care for our lives. You know what I mean? We understand that it isn't about us, it's about the glorification of Yahweh Hashem Yeshai and his will. So if we are defamed, as long as Yahweh Hashem Yeshai will comes to pass, yo, it says we being defamed, we entreat, we are made the filth of the world and are the offscouring of all things unto this day. Right? Let's get the word offscouring right here. Right? It says someone rejected by society, right? Outcast, something that is scoured off, refused, and that's us, yo. Hebrew Israelites, mainly James, yo. You know what I mean? People will hear of Hebrew Israelites, but when they hear of James, they get agitated and angry for some reason, yo. You know what I mean? Because we're not in coherence with this world, yo. You know what I mean? James 4 and 4 tells us, well, let's get James 4 and 4 real quick. You know what I mean? Tells us that the world is enmity with the Most High, and we're basically on the Most High, we're on Yahweh Shemeshai's side, you know? Therefore, we are the enemy, the world is an enemy of us as well, and we're an enemy of the world, you know? We're at enmity with the world as well, right? So this is James 4 verse 4, right? It says, ye adulterers and adulteresses, right? Know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with Yahweh? Whosoever therefore will be A friend of the world is the enemy of Yahweh Hashem Yeshai, yo. You know what I mean? And if you're a friend of the world, you're an enemy of us as well, because we are in league with Yahweh Hashem Yeshai, not with the world. You know what I mean? Therefore, we are the offscouring of the world. We are rejected by society, for what we believe in, for who we believe in, for believing in righteousness. Scripture tells us that he that uh basically make it himself a prey. Let's get that real quick. Himself prey. All right, in the KJV, right? Isaiah Yup, Isaiah 59:15. Yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. Until Yahweh saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment, yo. You know what I mean? So basically, eh, we won't be accepted until Yahweh Shemeshai brings forth judgment and bring the renewal of the word. You know what I mean? So it's just a part of it. You know what I mean? The refusal, the scorning, basically the unacceptance, right? It's just a part of the ministry. It's just a part of the will of Yahweh Shemir Shai. You know what I mean? So at first we won't be accepted, you know what I mean, and then in the last we will. Right? So let's get let's go back a little bit. Right? Uh Second Peter 3, refresh. It's like okay. So if we can get this up. Second Peter 3 verse 4, it says, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts, and saying, where is the promise of this his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation. Right? So you're gonna have scoffers, you know what I mean? And what what does scoffers do, yo? Right? They scoff, right? Make fun of, you know. They're not gonna accept us until Yahweh Shemeshai brings forth judgment, brings forth destruction, right? A perilous time. Then they shall seek to accept us, yes, because they'll seek to accept to find Yahweh Shemeshai. You know what I mean? To find the words of Yahweh Shemeshai, to get wisdom, understanding, knowledge, and that's basically through us. So then they'll seek us, yo. You know what I mean? But even at that point, the Most High won't accept them, you know. So ultimately, where will they actually have this knowledge, this wisdom, and understanding within them in the kingdom, when they are reincarnated and the scriptures, the commandments are written in their inward parts, you know. So this is Ezekiel 33. Now start at verse 30. If it loads. All right, good. It says, also, thou son of man, the children of thy people still are talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of the houses, and speak one to another, every one to his brother, saying, come, I pray you, and hear what the word that cometh from Yahweh. And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as the people, as my people, and they hear thy word, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they shall show much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness. Right? So they won't accept the words, yo. You know what I mean? So them hear it, them act like they agree, you know what I mean? And they're definitely gonna change. But as soon as they leave, them gone back to them wicked ways. And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice, and can play well on an instrument. For they hear thy words, but they do them not. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet had been among them. Right? So when destruction comes, in time of Jacob's trouble, all prophecies that's been um talked about or preached about, by the men of the Lord, right? When all of these prophecies start to play out, which they are playing out right now, Then shall they know that these men were prophets, yo. Then shall they know that a prophet had been among them. You know what I mean? They won't accept it at first, but when it's too late, then they'll seek to accept it, you know, and won't find it. God, the famine of the word will come, you know. All right, so let's get yeah, that's basically it on that. So let's get to the final precept that I wanted to bring out. That be basically the foundation of this lesson. You know what I mean? Because what I basically wanted to get into is the fact that, you know what I mean, we won't be accepted at first. You know, the scripture won't be accepted. The words of Yahweh Shemashai won't be accepted, right? And these people are gonna regret it. They're gonna regret not accepting, you know, the hand of Yahweh Shemashai when Yahweh Shemashai had his hand out, you know. And then in the last, not saying that these people will be saved, but in the last, you know what I mean, they will, because ultimately our people will have these laws, commandments, and statutes written within them, right? So just know that it's a part of it. Yeah, we can't be offended when Jay basically scoff at us, yo, and mock us and laugh at us, yo, right? Because hey, this is the end of the of them, yo. This is wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled, right? With terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation when those chariots comes to beam us up, yo. You know what I mean? Save us from that destruction in the last trump, yo. When that nukes are falling, especially upon America, yo. I mean, earth rocking back and forth, and Yahweh Shemeshai is beaming up his elect. That's the strangeness of our salvation, yo. It says, for so beyond all that they looked for, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, you know. So that's the last the last of them, you know. That's their last mentality. They're groaning, you know what I mean. They're in anguish of spirit and spirit troubled, right. What shall they say? They shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometime in derision, right? And a proverb of reproach. So this was he who we had some time in the region, yo. You know what I mean? These people are gonna look on and say, oh, look, I would think this man was a madman, yo. Look how he made light of what he was saying, of what they're saying, you know. That's what they're gonna say, yo. You know, they're gonna wish that they had listened, yo. They're gonna wish that they didn't scoff and laugh and mock in the first Trump, yo. In the first not first Trump, but in the first in the time when there was grace, you know, when we still had grace, you know. This is pull this up real quick. It's like I would at Google real slow, right? Just wanted to get the meaning for derision. It says contemptuous ridicule or mockery. Ooh, you know. So these were the men who were mocking, ridiculing, you know, making fun of, right? It says verse 4. Verse 3, they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometime in derision, and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor, right? Because they think that all that we're doing is vain, you know? They think that we're just basically out there and not having nothing to do, right? Just wanted to do something without that's vain. You know, little do they know that we're basically, you know, working for much greater goals than they can ever comprehend. You know, it says, how is he numbered among the children of your God, of Yahweh, and his lot is among the saints. Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness had not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. Right? We weird, or so they're basically coming to back they're coming to into reality now, you know, right. They might basically take check and realize that all of what they were into was wickedness, and it isn't profitable, yo. And they're gonna seek Yahweh Hashem Yeshai. But at that point, they won't find the Most High, yo. But this goes to show, yo. So they'll laugh now and they'll cry later, you know. They won't accept us now, but they'll accept it later. And when they accept it, it will be too late then. You know what I mean? So with that, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Bashir Makah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of GMS Great Millstone who teach and rule well to the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right? Salutations to the elect of Israel. Shalom.